Alright, let's talk about something incredibly thrilling. No, not competitive cheese rolling. Almost, but not quite. It's called IPSAS 24. Catchy, I know. International Public Sector Accounting Standard 24. Basically, it's a rule book for governments about how they talk about their budgets and what they actually spent with your money. Think of it as a financial truth serum, hopefully. Now, why should you care? Because this isn't monopoly money we're discussing here. This is your money, your hard-earned cash. Yes, yours. The stuff you dutifully pay in taxes every single year. Governments take that money, they make grand plans. They call these plans budgets. So, what's the big idea behind this IPSAS 24 thing? Its primary goal, its main mission if you will, is simple. It wants public sector entities, that's your governments, councils, public agencies, to show a comparison. A side-by-side look between the amounts they budgeted, their financial promises, and the actual amounts they ended up spending or receiving. It's like comparing your New Year's resolutions to your December reality. Usually a bit grim, but necessary for self-awareness, or in this case, public awareness. The purpose? Oh, it's all about those two beautiful buzzwords, transparency and accountability. Say them with me. Transparency means you get to see what's going on. No more hiding spending behind confusing jargon or complex shell games. Accountability means someone has to answer for the decisions made. If the budget said X and they did Y, they need to explain why. It's about making public officials responsible for managing public resources, which, let's remember, is actually resources. They're just borrowing it. Now, who does this fabulous standard apply to? Not everyone, sadly. It's for public sector entities. Think national governments, local councils, state-owned enterprises if they operate on a similar basis. One of the key requirements of IPSAS 24 is pretty straightforward. Entities have to present a comparison of budgeted and actual amounts, not in some obscure appendix buried on page 347, but directly in their main financial statements, prominently. This comparison must cover the same period, apples to apples, and use the same classification basis. No sneaky recategorizing. If the budget talks about education spending, the actuals should too. Not funds for enhanced juvenile cognitive development and associated infrastructure. Then there's the budget basis. This sounds technical, but it's crucial. Governments prepare budgets in different ways. Some use a cash basis, meaning they record money when it actually comes in or goes out. Simple. Others use an accrual basis, recording income when earned, and expenses when incurred, even if the cash hasn't moved yet. It's more complex, but often more accurate. IPSAS 24 says entities must disclose the accounting basis used for their budget. And if this basis is different from their financial statements, they must explain. Alright, let's dive into section 4. Show your work, disclosures, differences, and other dirty laundry. Beyond just showing the numbers, IPSAS 24 wants explanations, especially for what it calls material differences. That's accountant speak for significant variations, the big oopsies. Like if the budget allocated $1 million for new park benches and the actual spending was $5 million, or perhaps only $10,000, that's a material difference. Someone needs to explain why. Was it a sudden, unexpected plague of very expensive super termites? Or did they just decide to make the benches out of solid gold? These explanations for material differences are super important. They can't just be vague excuses like market fluctuations or unforeseen circumstances. The standard encourages entities to provide both financial and non-financial reasons. So, if spending on road repairs was way over budget, the financial reason might be increased asphalt prices. Fair enough. But a non-financial reason might be exceptionally bad weather caused more potholes. Or the original estimate was done by Dave from accounting who was guessing. This context helps everyone understand the full picture of what happened, but wait, there's more. IPSAS 24 also requires additional disclosures because just knowing the numbers and big differences isn't always enough. Entities need to provide details about their budgetary process. How is the budget actually put together? Who has a say? What's the legal framework? Who gives the final approval? This information helps assess the reliability and credibility of the budget itself. It's like knowing the recipe before you judge the cake. Moving on to section 5, the good, the bad, and the utterly bureaucratic benefits, challenges, and the big picture. So, after all this talk of rules and disclosures, what's the upside? Why bother with this IPSAS 24 bureaucratic ballet? Well, the biggest benefit is enhanced transparency. That's huge. It provides a clear, standardized comparison between planned financial activities and what actually happened, the real outcomes. This helps everyone, citizens, investors, oversight bodies, understand how public resources are being managed or mismanaged. It's like turning the lights on in a previously very dim room. The second major benefit is improved accountability. Another big one. When governments know their budget performance will be publicly scrutinized and compared against their initial promises, in a clear format, they are more likely to be careful with public money, at least in theory. It holds public sector entities accountable for their financial stewardship. It encourages better financial management and more realistic planning. Suddenly, wildly optimistic revenue projections might get a second look. And those vanity projects? Maybe they'll think twice, or at least budget for them properly. Of course, implementing IPSAS 24 isn't always a walk in the park, especially if that park has had its maintenance budget mysteriously slashed. One of the main challenges is implementation. It can be complex. Aligning existing budgetary systems with financial reporting systems is often a headache. Many governments have old, creaky systems that don't talk to each other. You need robust internal controls. You need accurate tracking systems for both budget figures and actual expenditures. This takes effort and money, which ironically needs to be budgeted for. And then there's the human element. Training and capacity building are essential,